Welcome. I'm Bob Burke with the Libertarian Party movement in Pearson, St. Croix. Understanding our tax system, as I mentioned before, is a daunting challenge. To help, I've put together an example of how all taxes are paid by the consumer, and I will close with two nuggets. For my example, I'm going to talk about the fictional character Mr. Rybinski, who was just asked to manage a local malt shop in River Falls. Now, Mr. Rybinski was told that he was going to earn $10 an hour for his effort, and that income taxes would cost him $3 of his $10, making his net take-home pay $7 an hour. This is the first illusion in the system. Mr. Rybinski is not managing the restaurant for $10 an hour. Mr. Rybinski is managing the restaurant for $7 an hour. Simply because Mr. Rybinski received a piece of paper that stated that he was paid $10 an hour does not mean that he was paid $10 an hour. If Mr. Rybinski never deposited checks equating to $10 an hour into a personal checking account in his name, he never earned it. Again, Mr. Rybinski managed the restaurant for $7 an hour. The second illusion is who really pays the $3 in taxes. The $3 in taxes are passed on to the consumer and are paid at the register. They are collected by the company and then paid on to the government. Mr. Rybinski never touched the dollars, not once. So I'm sure the question will come up, why then do we file tax returns? Because it is the very inefficient means the government has chosen that offers them the most control on the system, and you and I are the system. Much of our tax code is actually just poorly designed psychological experiments masked as tax incentives and government rebates, each of them trying to affect certain social outcomes. This system merely shifts which consumer group gets hit most by taxes, but the consumer still pays it. A flat sales tax eliminates all of this nonsense. On to the two nuggets. When I first started working with financial advisors, I learned a very important lesson that's best applied this way. Having established that Mr. Rybinski's real wage is $7 an hour, and that all taxes are actually passed on and paid by the consumer at the register, let's say that our fictional friend decided to have his dinner at the malt shop before leaving. Something I did all the time when I worked in a malt shop. If the taxes were properly labeled as a sales tax, paid by the consumer at the register, the $3 would represent almost 43% of Mr. Rybinski's real $7 an hour take-home wage, not 30% of a fictional $10 pre-tax wage. The second nugget is a piece of history. Our founding fathers knew the nature of taxation, and what we see today is really no different than the games kings played. The Constitution, as written by our founding fathers, didn't allow for anything but a direct tax such as a sales tax to be levied by our federal government. That was changed in 1913 by the 16th Amendment and was part of a whole progressive movement in the early part of the 20th century. In many ways, some excellent things like women's suffrage came out of that movement, and some catastrophic ones like the federal income taxes. What we see today are the natural outcome of those progressive era ideas. One idea was based on extending freedom, and I think we can all agree today it was a win. The other? Well, you can decide that by joining us February 23rd. We can create a fairer tax system. It starts February 23rd at 8 a.m. with registration for the Libertarian Party Caucus at the University of Wisconsin, River Falls. I look forward to seeing you there. We are, together, Liberty Valley, Wisconsin.